Although that
Yeah,
has made me think of something. It's like, what happened to that crew? That original crew? What
they had
happened?
to leave. Nah, they had to move on. I don't know if they all still talk, but they definitely had to move on
Yeah.
because the YouTube platform's changed, as we
Hmm.
knew, as it always is.
Yeah.
And Joe and well, Joji wanted just to dabble into more music.
Hmm.
I think as it is. And to be fair, it's a matter of opinion. I think iDubbbz dipped, just dropped right off after that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude.
He is not funny anymore,
Hmm.
and it's weird because he was always I'd say he's one of the funniest ones out of both of them, but
Yeah.
not out of the trio. But no,
Hmm.
he's not
Yeah, because you
funny.
had that original crew of four. It was
Yeah,
Maxmoefoe,
yeah,
Anything4views, aka
yeah,
Captain Big Nuts, I like to call him.
yeah,
You had iDubbbz, and then you
yeah.
had FilthyFrank. So
Of
obviously, like
course.
FilthyFrank, George came Joji because like he wanted to pursue
Hmm.
his music career, his mental health,
Yeah,
etc. Which I
yeah,
completely
yeah.
understand. Like
Well,
that. I mean,
to be
yeah.
fair, you just had to see sort of the stuff they were doing in the videos to know, like, not that anything's, um, not that I think it's like, I don't know, I guess it would be evidence actually. I was gonna say not that it is like solid evidence, but it could be like
Hmm.
the amount of relentless smoking and stuff they did,
Yeah.
just inject with just cigarettes and stuff like that. Like I think at one point Maxmoefoe was like he just had like 4, 5 in his mouth, all lit up, and it's
Hmm.
like that. I get it; it's hilarious for the joke, but when you
Yeah.
look into that, there's you obviously don't care enough.
Hmm.
Your mental health must be plummeted at that point when you're
Yeah.
just doing that stuff. I know is that sort of do you see what I'm trying to say?
I get what you're trying to say.
um,
I think that's a perspective thing
yeah,
as well, though, because if we're
definitely,
looking
of
at
course so.
from
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
2021 lens, you look back at that and think, okay, yeah, they were doing it for a bit, maybe they like had a bit
Mm.
going. It's like, do you remember like the Cake series, the
Oh
the
god, the
Cake?
shift.
Yeah, like those
All
were
of those have
utterly
been removed now.
cursed. They've all
They've
been
been removed,
removed, all of
but
them.
people just re-upload it. Yeah, they've
Oh
all been
yeah, of
removed, but
course. Like
we just get re-uploads.
once
But
it's up,
nah,
it never goes down.
of
Like
course not. But
no
people
matter
are
what the
trying to get
form.
rid of it. YouTube are
Hmm.
trying to get rid of it, and I think rightly so because by the point that they made human cake, there was just
Hmm.
some scenes in that.
Yeah, it's like
But
looking at it now, and you look back and think, okay, this may have been for a bit, but this was kind of fucked. But obviously, at the time,
definitely,
the reason they found success is because that's what worked. YouTube at the time was like a wild west. It was nowhere near as like sanitized and regimented as it is now.
but weirdly though but it wasn't for like certain content. It was very much like kid friendly, and they were
Mm,
trying to push more of a sort of because they tried to do that. They got like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, and all those sort of people, Mr. Beast. They were sort of eventually
mm,
trying to bring those people more, but then people just found Filthy Frank, and that's sort of
yeah,
it tainted their reputation so much because the algorithm was a normal algorithm. I think it sort of like worked with what's popular, not what
yeah.
they want you to see.
Yeah, the
And now they've had
algorithm
to
is always going to be
control
one
it.
of the biggest mysteries because it's constantly changing too. I mean, you look
Mm.
at like exactly like you say, you look at what it's recommending now and what
Now,
it was recommending and how it functioned before. It's like stuff like
yeah,
if you released like something like human cake or something, you would be well, first off, you'd be struck off, but if you weren't, you get
yeah,
next to no views because you'd be
yeah,
age restricted, you'd be suppressed, you'd
yeah,
like get
yeah,
nothing. You'd get absolutely nothing. And there's I I have very little understanding of it on a technical level,
yeah.
but I don't think very few people actually do.
No, and then don't get me wrong, those sort of content does still exist like that, but I feel
Mm,
you have to find it, and
yeah.
eventually you'll come across a video. Like the algorithm will sort of go, "Oh, here's this," but
Mm,
it takes a lot. Like and you know what? I think as I get older, I am sort of enjoying just sort of mature videos anyway. So I
yeah.
don't necessarily like my YouTube algorithm's decent. Like I got recommended this guy he was making